Hi everyone, my name is Beth. I am the Pueblo County 4-H coordinator for our 4-H program here in Southern Colorado, and this is the how-to video that accompanies the lesson plan for the 4-H horse treat kit baking class that is done virtually with your 4-H members. So hopefully you had a chance to overlook the lesson plan and you got to see the supply list and everything like that. This video just kind of shows you snippets of what I did to put the whole class together. It lasted about an hour and a half, and most of that was putting the mixes together, and then of course the baking time that the youth did with their treats. So first thing I did was I made my puppets, which is totally optional. You do not have to make puppets. I just did it to make more interactive time with the children. So as you can see, this is a horse here that I got, and the template for these parts is available on that lesson plan that you can use. And then I just bought the googly eyes, was the only really extra part. And then of course I put some 4-H memorabilia here, and then on his tail that you can see here. And then I put all of my baking ingredients that again is on that template in a stapled brown paper bag, just like the puppet. And then the puppet sits right on top of it, just like so. So then these are easy to carry and they're easy to distribute. These don't do well in the mail, so I would suggest that you make sure you can get these to your youth either by having them come and meet you and pick them up, or if you can, do a no contact drop off at their house or something like that. So the reason I did the puppets was because of the trivia game that the youth played during our baking time. So the trivia game is seen in the later clips on this video, where you can see how the youth interacted with it. I will also walk you through exactly how I set it up on Trivia Maker, and then on the lesson plan, the link to my particular game that I set up is also available and viewable for you there as well. The questions that I got from it, most of them are from the Ohio State 4-H Horse Manual, as most of our youth here in Pueblo are pretty familiar with that manual. And then some of the extra questions were just related to this particular activity and how the items we used in the treats are related to a horse's nutrition and diet system. So that's kind of what I did, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is listed at the end of that lesson plan as well, so if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to give me a shout out. And now I'll walk you through how I did the trivia game and also give you guys a little insight into how much fun my youth had playing this game and making our treats. Thanks for watching.
Before getting into the trivia game, I also just wanted to show you all how I actually set up and started the baking steps of this particular lesson plan. So I had them take off their horse puppet off our kit, and then we went through everything together. So the first thing I had them do was get out their cardstock recipe cards, because the biggest thing here is if your youth loses internet connection or gets kicked out of the Zoom meeting for whatever reason, they still need to be able to follow along and be able to finish the activity. That's where these recipe cards are just so helpful, because it has everything they need to do labeled out no matter what. And plus, it's something for future reference if they ever are interested in doing this again. Then I have them get everything out of their bag. So as I talked about on the lesson plan, we have our flour, our honey, we have our oats, our carrots, and our apple. So all that's in my bag, and then with the carrots, we just wrapped them in some saran wrap just to kind of keep them nice and not as mushy. If you do these kits super early, the materials will start to deteriorate, so that's just something to think about, how soon you buy your supplies for it and how soon you're actually going to distribute your kits. So that's something to think about. And then once I had them get that out, I had them look over the recipe card and notice that the oven needs to be set at 325. So I had them go to their oven, get that preheating while we were waiting with everyone else as everyone got in and got their audio checked out, and that the only thing that was on their stove was their baking sheet, because as we all know, when your stove starts to preheat, it gets hot on top, and I didn't want them to have any kind of chance of burning themselves or burning or melting anything that they might need. So that was something to do. So that was done, and then once I did that, I just made sure that my computer was sitting here on my countertop so that they could see what I was doing. My particular camera is not built into my computer. It's movable, which is nice because I was able to move the camera so that they could see what I was doing with my hands, which is extremely helpful when I was grating like the carrot or cutting up my apple, so that I could give them tips and tricks about how to stay safe with sharp objects in the kitchen. So that was something really nice because I made it more where they could see what I was doing and I was actively doing it with them, not just doing a lecture presentation. Obviously, what you need to do, what works best for you and your youth, but this is just the way I did it. So if you would like to follow the way I did it, this is how you set it up. So once that started to go, then we just walked through the recipe card together as a group and did it each step by step, and I communicated with the youth to make sure that everyone was following along and everyone was on the same page. That's why the recipe cards are actually really helpful, because if you have youth who have spotty internet connection or anything like that, then it allows them to still be able to follow along with your lesson plan even if their Zoom connection goes out. So it's just kind of an extra benefit during this virtual programming time. So once they're doing that and cooking and everything, I make sure to just walk them through the steps, even with the measuring, everything like that. And then when it came to the mixing part, what I did is that I had them mix all the ingredients and I gave them the option. They could either do it with like a whisk or a spoon. Because of the honey and the oats that's part of this kit program, it gets sticky. So I decided to just use my hands. And for some of the younger youth, they really liked being able to get their hands in and actually get something gooey and gross and messy, because you mix all the ingredients together, you squish it into a ball, and then you put it on your greased baking sheet. So it's a really interactive, high motor skill type of activity that works well for really any youth, and even a youth that just enjoys baking. It's a good one to do. And even if they sneak a bite, which I did have a couple of youth do, it's okay, because all of these ingredients are something that humans can ingest, same with horses, which is really nice. So all that's done, and then also during this time, I talked with them about their different types of favorite Disney movies, and we had the Disney soundtrack playing in the background because I wanted this opportunity to be a time for the youth to be more open and communicative, because as you all know, our youth are having a hard time being on Zoom all the time and having a lot of rules and regulations, and these activities should be a bit more open, a bit more fun, and that's exactly the type of environment I was creating. So that's just one more optional tool you can use to interact with your youth. So that is how I set it up, and then once I made sure everyone was following along, they were doing their dough and getting them into the balls, and we put them on the sheet, I made sure that I gave them time to go and take them to the oven, because some of my youth did do this at a table instead of a countertop in their kitchen, and they put them into their oven. Once everyone came back and had an opportunity to wash their hands, then we got on with playing our trivia game. So now I'll show you on a screen share how I did my trivia game and how much fun the youth had with that. So I'll share a couple snippets from my recorded session, and then like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, if you have any questions about this particular lesson plan or anything else I did, feel free to contact me at the email address that is available in the lesson plan.
So here you all can see the Trivia Maker website and what my horse treat baking trivia looks like. So the way this works is I just picked the regular trivia style of playing, and then what I did is I came down to my categories. I made 4 categories and 4 questions. So when you click on this edit button, it allows you to do your questions and your answers, and you can do pictures with your particular questions, and for the answers you can do music, you can do pictures, and even video. So you have quite a bit of functionality with this, which is really nice. And then once you're all done, you just push save and it'll save everything for you. It gives you a layout preview of what it looks like. And then down here you can do different customizations. I always try to do a background image of what I am doing the activity on. So of course I did my baking horse treats and home kit class image for the background, and then for the settings you can do a scoreboard. I did not use one in this particular game setup, but I have used it in other educational places. So then what I do is I use the play button, I push launch game, and I do this. And one thing to note here so that they are able to hear you is that if you are the one screen sharing, you'll want to go into your settings and push where it says share computer sound. That way they can hear the music, and I'll play the music so y'all can hear what it sounds like. And I found that if you're recording a particular session, it can be really hard to hear yourself over the music, and the kids also may have a hard time hearing you as well. So I just click this no music so that it's not playing. Then if you just click through with your tabs on your computer, it'll go through the different categories. and then it sets it up like Jeopardy. So then, for example, if I click this one, it gives the youth their question. It comes with a timer, which goes down from here. And then if you click it again, it gives them the answer. And what I like to do is if they got it right, or even just gave it a good try, I'll give them a clapping sound. And a heart, which looks something like that. And then if you come back up here to where these squares are, if you push that, it'll take you back to the game board and show you the ones that you've already done, which are the darker, the less colored ones that you can see here. And then, for example, say if they got it wrong, we'll click here on our average pulse rate for a horse, and say they got that one completely wrong, you can do even the sad sound, which of course I always say, it's okay guys, we can try again next time. So I always make it fun, and the youth really like the sound effects that come along with this game. So it's just something really fun that they can do, and it's really nice. And then if you need to exit the game, you'll just push that door looking one. It'll give you this little heads up part of it, and then it'll take you back and you can exit out of it and you're back into it. So that's something I do. This particular website does, for the extra add-ons, you do have to pay for an account. It's not that much. I believe it's around like $7, I think is what our office pays for this, but it's pretty manageable, and it has a lot of great options, and they do a lot of featured games, as you can see here. Right now they're doing Thanksgiving and Christmas ones, things like that. So they have a lot of different options, and this isn't the only way you can create games. If you push create, you can do a bunch of other ones. You can do list, trivia, the wheel. The grid is just easiest for me to do with most of the youth, but it's definitely, you can definitely use the other ones if you like to challenge your youth as well. So that's just the way that I play this particular game with my youth. And if you watch the rest of this video and watch some of the snippets from my recorded session, you'll be able to see how I had them answer the questions over Zoom. I have a couple people still wrapping stuff up, so we will just give everyone a little bit more time, because then as our cookies are baking, we're gonna play our trivia game. So that's when you're gonna need to have kind of clean hands so we can use our puppets. We're gonna use them for our game.
Okay, I got my puppet.
Perfect. Make sure you can get them to talk.
Yeah.
Perfect. What type of question, guys, and for how many points?
First aid for 100.
Okay, first aid for 100, and make sure you guys can hear all of the answers on here. So, question is, what is the normal body temperature of an adult horse? Laura, start with you guys.
Heat.
And they might be busy, so we'll come back to them. Or, nope, Chance came back. So, Chance, what do you think the answer is? And Laura, what is
It's 100 degrees.
Okay?
124.
124. Anyone else? Adams? Kubas? What you guys thinking? Callie?
99.
99.9.
99.9.
99 to 101.
Okay. All right. Our answer is 98 to 101 degrees. Way to go, guys! Way to go! Thank you for watching this how-to video that is a resource for the Colorado 4-H Horse Street Baking Kit class. This photo shows you what my finished horse cookies looked like, and they made my house smell lovely as they baked. As you can see from the snippets in this video of my recorded session, the 4-H members had a great time baking, playing trivia, and interacting with other 4-Hers. I hope your local 4-H youth enjoy this activity just as much as they did.